PDAC 2026, it's day number 3, and we are here now at the booth of Aurania Resources, and with me is CEO Dr. Keith Barron. Keith, thank you very much for your time for another interview with us.
Oh, thank you. It's day 3 already?
It is.
What the hell happened to day 2?
I don't know. How's the show so far?
It is extremely busy. I haven't seen it like this since the early 1990s. It's amazing.
Okay, now that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
So since our last interview, I believe you did it in October in 2025. You did it with Jochen Steiger.
Yes.
A lot happened at Aurania.
Sure.
You signed a letter of intent to explore massive tailings at a former asbestos mine in North Italy for, I think, nickel and cobalt.
Nickel and cobalt.
Could you give us some details on this, please?
This is a very, very interesting project. It involves a mine called Belangero, which is it's about 30 kilometers from the city of Turin in northern Italy. The mine operated from 1918 until 1990. It's been long since finished. It was investigated back in 1966 by a professor at the local polytechnic to see if they could extract nickel from the waste and have that as a value-added byproduct. The nickel prices were too low back then to do anything with it. But today, nickel is hovering between $17,000 and $18,000 US a ton. The economics are certainly very relevant to this project. And this is very, very different from a lot of other things because the waste is already heaped up in a pile, 250 meters high. It's what we call dry stack, so it's not underwater. There's no tailings ponds. And essentially, it's already been crushed down to -4 centimeters. Mm-hmm. So what do you do with this stuff? You don't have to mine it. You don't have to drill it. You don't have to use explosives on it. You don't have to extract it from under the ground. It's already piled up for you.
You don't have to crush it?
All the hard work is done. So the crushing has been done down to 4 centimeters. So now you would have to grind it. You grind it down to a size sufficient so that you liberate the metal particles in it. And then the main mineral that we're interested in is a nickel mineral called awarenite. And awarenite is a nickel iron natural alloy. It's quite rare around the world, but it's very abundant in this place. And it's highly magnetic. And so you can extract it with magnets. You don't need to have any chemicals, anything like that. You would just, you would grind the stuff, add water. You would use a magnetic separation drum. You would recover it on the drum and then essentially dry it, bag it, ship it, and then take the checks.
Okay. So that means the next step is then now to drill it, this tailings?
Well,
and have a look what's in it.
Yeah, we're working with SRK Consulting, one of the largest consulting companies in the world, and they're working on a preliminary economic assessment for us. Now, they want us to drill at least 15 holes, sonic holes, through this pile to identify, to see if it's stratified, layered. They want to see how thick it is, and they want us to assay it. And then we could do an inferred resource on the thing, right?
Yeah.
Sonic hole is not like a diamond drill hole. It goes very, very fast. You can drill one hole. Actually, you could probably drill 2 holes in a day. We're doing very, very short moves between the holes. And the idea would be to get a bulk sample from the drilling somewhere in the region of 20 tons. And we would process that at a pilot plant. We've already got a place identified in northern France, which has 450 kilos of our stuff that they're working on today. Mm-hmm. So we would send it there. They would extract the metals from it. And then we figure out all the economics, how hard it is, how much energy you have to put in to grind it, all these different parameters to reach, really to see if it's economic to recover it. And I'm sure that it is. There's another company, I'm not going to identify who it is, but they're working in northern British Columbia on awarenite. And they've been talking about making an open pits for the cost of 2.6 billion Canadian dollars. Now, It's not going to cost us in the billions to do this. It's going to cost a mere fraction.
Yeah.
And then we run with it. So it's very, very exciting. The Italian government, they have all through the EU, they have a process right now to identify and fast track critical metals deposits. And this checks all the boxes. Not only do we want to recover cobalt and nickel, which are very, very important for electric batteries and cars, but also we want to destroy the asbestos.
Yeah.
Forever. Gone. So that would be part of the process.
Okay. That's good for nature and for people.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's move from northern Italy to the northwest of France, where you obtained 3 new exploration licenses on the Brittany Peninsula. And to be honest, the Brittany Peninsula was never on my screen for mining. But as I learned from your recent presentation here at the Fairmont Royal York, there could be massive gold showings. What we can see here. We also would put a photo of this nice little rock here into our video.
Yeah.
That's worth $10,000.
Yeah.
$10,000
€10,000 probably.
Euros probably. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the idea behind it, and how did that come that you got these licenses, or how did you find this
Well,
region?
we started the process 2.5 years ago, but the way that this all happened, there's actually a piece of this stuff which weighs 3.5 kilos, and 1 kilo of it is gold, pure gold, and that resides in the Natural History Museum in Paris. And I was in Paris and I saw this on display. I was very, very interested, and I wanted to know where the hell it came from, of course, because it was labeled that it came from France, and I had not heard of anything with this kind of gold grade. Now, that came out of a historical collection. This is probably out of a historical collection as well. So maybe found 100 years or so, but we know exactly where it came from. And we also believe that there is very, very good potential for not just gold, but also tin. Tin price is very high right now, and antimony and tungsten. Tungsten is doing very well as well. And these are all critical metals that Europe very, very badly needs. So we identified this. We also identified an area further to the north along a massive shear zone that runs all the way through one end, all the way from the coast, from the Atlantic, inland for the whole of Brittany. It's called the Armorican Shear Zone. And it is a lookalike to another deposit, another company here that's doing very well called Newfound Gold. At one time, Brittany and Newfoundland were together. They were joined. And we think that the mineralization, the vein systems were formed more or less at the same time. Then the Atlantic opened, the mid-ocean rift, and one ended up in France, the other ended up in Canada. So we think maybe we've got the other side of that deposit.
Okay.
Very exciting.
What's the plan now for this project for 2026?
Well, we're going to start off doing some remote sensing. We'd like to do some LiDAR over the area because we've been told that there are, old workings that go back as much as 200 years, maybe even older than that, that have been filled in by farmers, but you'll still be able to see traces of them on a LiDAR image. So we'd like to do a LiDAR survey. On this stuff, potentially we do a geophysical, an electrical survey to locate more of it and locate the source.
Okay. Good. Then let's come to the third project from the northwestern part of France to the southeastern part of France to Corsica.
Yes.
I was there at my last vacation in summer of 2025. There at the beach of this, where all this asbestos mine rocks has been thrown just into the sea.
Yes.
And went south to this beach. What's going on there?
Well, you've seen it, so you know it's real. Did you see the black stripes on the beach?
For sure, yeah.
So those black stripes are actually running 6% nickel, which is high as Voisey's Bay and Sudbury, which are underground nickel mines here in Canada.
Okay.
Now, these whole beaches are not 6% nickel. We think they're averaging somewhere around 1.5%, 2%, something like that. But this is in grains that are smaller than 1 millimeter on these beaches. And where the tide washes back and forth, it collects these things. It's what we call a beach placer. And you can see these strips that parallel where the water line is. And, at high tide, you get them further up the beach. At low tide, you get them further down, et cetera, et cetera. But we think it's essentially the whole thing, one end to the other. Now, the very, very important thing to know about this is that this is nickel, cobalt, chromium, copper. All of these are considered to be heavy metals. And in the environment, they're actually heavy metal poisons. If they were in the water supply, they would kill you, right? Yep. In this case, what has happened, these beaches have no life on them. They're sterile. And so is the area offshore for, we think, about 600 meters going into the Mediterranean. There's just nothing there. There's no sea life. And that's because of the metal content of what we want to do essentially in the extraction of this material is clean it up.
Yeah.
So this is another win-win for the environment.
For sure. Okay, then last question. You are now on the hunt mostly for strategic metals, nickel, cobalt, tungsten. What would you say is the acceptance for mining projects, especially in France and Italy, for strategic metals? It's not just gold and silver and all that stuff. It's strategic. The Europeans need all that stuff.
It's true. However, the reality is that there are almost no critical metal alone projects in Europe. I mean, the ones that we've looked at Belangero and the ones in Corsica, that's a very, very different thing and very unique. But most of the things, you have gold occurring with antimony or gold occurring with tungsten. And it will be the gold that makes it economic. And the tungsten is a byproduct, but you could never mine the tungsten by itself and make any money, right?
Yeah.
And this is something that a lot of the Europeans have got to figure out and understand, because there are a number of them, especially on the socialist side, hate gold. They don't want to talk about gold. They don't want to see gold. If the gold's not mined, you're not going to get any tungsten, or you're not going to get any tin, or you're not going to get any antimony. And that's the reality of the situation. Now, besides all this that we've been talking about, we're looking at another 2 jurisdictions, and I can't tell you specifics about them now, but we've been to the projects and investigated them, and those are gold only. And, I want to take advantage of these high gold and silver prices to have a couple of gold alone projects within the portfolio. I think it's very important, and certainly everybody here at the show is doing a similar sort of thing.
And these 2 projects would also be in Europe?
I can't say.
You can say. Okay. And let's leave it this way.
Yeah.
Okay. Then thank you very much, Keith, for this insight. And then, we should speak in a couple of months when you get new results, and maybe also one or two of these new projects into your portfolio. And then, let's do an update then.
Next time we talk, we'll have a lot more to talk about, I think.
That's great. Wonderful. Thank you very much for your time, Keith.
Thank you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Keith Barron, the CEO of Aurania Resources. You heard it, a lot of results to come. A LiDAR survey from France, drilling and surveys from the tailings in northern Italy, and 1 or 2 new gold projects. And I would say, check out Aurania Resources, and bye-bye from Toronto.